I'm guessing this is kind of like kinky, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey. So I am excited. I just want to... Oh! I just opened the book and guess what's the first word I read? Climax. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the books that I have read since the quarantine started, the books that I'm currently reading, and also the books that I have yet to read. So I posted on Instagram a couple of months back, I think 2 months back. I've mentioned that this whole quarantine period has made me want to read. So I started picking up more books, and I was posting lots of Instagram stories of just books that I'm buying, and a lot of people want to know the kind of books I'm reading. So I bought 21 physical books, and I think I bought over 100 books on Kindle. So it starts from the bottom, it goes all the way up. So as a child, I used to read a lot, but that never actually became a habit until like a month ago. So I really started to pick up reading seriously just about 2 months ago, I think. And I actually first started that on Kindle. So I'm going to share with you guys the first book I read on Kindle. The first book that really got me into reading is this one called How to Marry a Billionaire. It's a really cute short story. It's about 200 pages and I finished that in 2 days. These are all the books that I have on my Kindle. I read a lot of romance, a lot of comedy, a lot of self-improvement books, books about business. Anyways, before we move into the physical copies, I just want to say that I've also recently created a Goodreads account. So there will be a link to my Goodreads account down in the description box below. So let us start. I have read this and this. Literally, I've only read 2. The first book that I have is Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. This was actually one of my first books that I've ever read as a child, and Dan Brown has since become one of my all-time favorite authors. This book is the definition of a page turner. It is 5 out of 5 stars for me. I couldn't stop reading and I just kept going and going and going. It talks about the Illuminati and how they want to destroy Vatican City, and it is entirely up to Robert, a Harvard professor, to figure out and decipher the code of the Illuminati and stop them. It's really good. I highly recommend this one. The next book that I read is called The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I found out about this book from watching lots of booktubers. So ever since the quarantine started, I discovered this thing called booktubers. And booktubers are basically YouTubers that do videos about books. I've never been to that side of the community before. I'm in the vlogging community. I've only known about the beauty community or the mukbang or the ASMR community. So I found out about booktubers, and a lot of these booktubers, they recommend this book. So I picked this book up on Amazon. It talks about an African-American girl falling in love with a Korean-American boy. This book had me squealing. Daniel is really cute, I'm not gonna lie. It has a really realistic ending that I wasn't expecting. The next book that I read, it's not really a story, but it is my childhood book, and that is Arthur Spiderwick's Field Guide from the Spiderwick Chronicles. Ever since I watched that movie as a kid, I've always wanted the Field Guide. Look at this. Look at that. This book is a dream. This book is literally a dream. The fairy looks really real too. All this information about mermaids and where they live and where they come from and all that. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this. I've got this book as well. This is an ebook. The Troop by Nick Cutter. This book is disgusting. Lots of gore, lots of animal cruelty, lots of blood. If you guys don't like that, then you might not want to read that book. But I quite enjoyed it. Not because I enjoyed the animal cruelty, but I enjoyed how dark the book is. There's a character in the book that has a really sick mind, and it's just interesting to me to look at things from the perspective of someone that's so sick in the head. It was quite an interesting experience for me reading that book. So if you want to see things from a sick person's point of view, then maybe you can read that book. It's quite disturbing, but it's a really interesting book. Now let's move on to the books that I am currently reading. I am reading The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This book is a historical fiction book, so all of the events that actually happen in this book has happened sometime somewhere in the world. It talks about how females are being treated in the past, you know, female oppression, and how women are born to breed. It's really interesting. I think one of the sentences in chapter 9, it really struck me. Let me just search it out. At that time, men and women tried each other on, casually, like suits, rejecting whatever did not fit. She's talking about something that happened, you know, in history that you can kind of still apply to modern society, because people still do that nowadays. Men and women do try each other on like we're clothing, and we just kind of reject things that doesn't fit us, which is not how it's supposed to be. That happened in history, and it's funny how you can still apply it to the things that's happening in modern society these days. So right now we are going to move on to the rest of the books that I've yet to read. So the entire Angels and Demons series, it comes in a series of 5 books. That's the first book. So the second book is the Da Vinci Code, got that. Third book is the Lost Symbol. The fourth book is Inferno, and the fifth book is Origin. I am actually planning to binge read the entire series. I'm not too sure if I should film that, because that's going to be really boring, just me sitting at home trying to get through a book. I also got 2 extra Dan Brown's books that are not part of the series. So these are Deception Point and Digital Fortress. So next I picked up 2 classic books. So if you guys don't already know, I am a huge fan of Disney. I've watched all of the classic Disney films. I've never actually read any books, so I got these 2 books from Harper Designs. It comes with interactive elements, see that, where you can kind of turn it. One thing that I've realized reading the books as compared to watching the films is that they actually take away so much information from the books. There's just so much more details in the book. I found out that they're actually gnomes on Neverland. I didn't know that because that wasn't a thing in the movie. I love this, and I'm definitely going to be getting more of these collections from Harper Designs. It's so pretty. You can kind of turn it. And then I went to Poundland. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically a store in the UK where everything is like basically a pound. The first book that I have, it's called Nemesis. They were cheap, okay, so I just bought it. The next book that I have, it's called 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna Cannon. It looks like something that I might enjoy reading. I don't really like to read too much about the books. I just kind of like to dive in and see whether I like it or not. If I don't enjoy this, I would probably just give it away. Also, it matches my little bow today. It looks so cute. The next book that I got is Haven of Obedience by Marina Henderson. It kind of looks like 50 Shades of Grey. I'm guessing this is kind of like kinky, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey. I loved 50 Shades of Grey. Beautifully written. I like the movie as well. Christian Grey is so hot. So I am excited. I just want to... Oh! Hello. I just opened the book, and guess what's the first word I read? Climax. It says here, I don't think I can climax yet. That's not for you to decide. Yeah, I like this book now. The next book that I got, this one my brother actually picked up for me. Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I just really like the whole vibe. You can just kind of imagine that. A gloomy mansion, old antique keys, and then a lonely boy. I don't know, I'm really excited to get started with this one. The next book that I got is East of the Sun by Julia Gregson. It's got a little peacock right there. It's so pretty, and the book is actually quite old, so it's got that old book smell, which I quite enjoy. This book takes place in India, and it talks about a girl who has an arranged marriage. You know, she doesn't want to marry a guy that she hardly knows. So she is determined to get away from her mother and determined to find a husband for herself. I got this entirely because of the cover. Look, it literally just looks like France. And it's about a girl coming of age. You know, she just graduated university, I think, and she is ready to go out and take charge and be in control of her own life. So we've got 3 books left. The first book that I got is called The Star Outside My Window. It's a story about this girl who lost her mother at a really young age, and she believes that when people die they become stars. And so she starts on a journey following a star that she thinks is her mother, in hopes that she would find her mother. I was really intrigued by this because I just really wanted to read a book from the eyes of a child, because I'm not a child anymore. It's really hard to think like a child. So I'm very interested to see what this book is like. The next book that I got is The Girl Who Speaks Fair by Sophie Anderson. I've heard lots of good reviews about this book. I really wanted to try it. It's about a little girl who got abandoned as a baby, and she was raised up by bears. And so because of that, she's always kind of wondered where she came from. She journeys from icy rivers to mountains and all that. She meets people and friends along the way, and discovers who she really is. The last book that I got, this is probably the thinnest book that I have. This is called A Pocket Full of Stars by Aisha Bushby. First of all, this book is absolutely stunning. Just look at the cover. It drew me in almost immediately, but also I've heard lots of good reviews about this book. So it's about this girl named Sophia. So when her mother fell ill, something mysterious happens. Sophia is basically being transported back in time to her mother's childhood, but then she realized that this is also a game. So she's inside a game. I think that's what I got from this. She has to learn how to play the game by opening up her heart to accepting the past. I would definitely be reading books like this, something a little bit more light, in between reading really heavy books like The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. But yeah, that is all for today's video. Tell me what you guys are reading right now during this quarantine period. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!